go across to Disha, who's joining us. She has with her students as well. Disha, you've also been speaking to a lot of people. Now, this issue of jobs is obviously, especially for students who are looking to get into the jobs market, becomes extremely important as well. What are their views and expectations from the budget?
Well, certainly. So, Avni, firstly, if you talk about, we are here to speak about the education sector because these are the students who are the future of our country. So, till today, what we understand, since 1968, the only 3% of the GDP spent on the education sector. So here there is a need, and the biggest expectation today is to have an increased budget allocation. So here directly we'll start and speak to a few of the students who I have with me to just get quickly word from them about the expectations. Thank you so much. So today there's the union budget. What you are really expecting from the education, because currently you all are studying MBA in finance right now, then obviously you'll have jobs ahead as well. So what's the big, expectation today from the budget?
As we have seen last year, there was a major slash in the budget allocation for education sector. Around 93,000 crores were allocated for the budget. So this year we are hoping that around 6 to 8% of the GDP should be allocated for the budget for education sector. This is not only necessary for the education sector, it is also great for scaling up the youth for better employment opportunities.
So, because like I rightly pointed out that 6% has been the highest, demand since 1968, that 6% of the GDP should be allocated for the budget. What is your expectation today?
Pandemic has affected the traditional Indian education system, and at the same time, EdTech was growing rapidly. So, according to me, I feel that government should bring down the GST rates for education EdTech platforms, which is currently 18%. It should be brought down to almost 5%, and also there is disparity among for the printed books, which is 5% GST rate, and for online books, which is 18%. It should be brought at par level
Sure.
at 5%.
We'll take one last, of course, answer before we wrap this.
So, as rightly pointed out, the COVID-19 has brought a disparity between the education. So, e-learning is a thing right now. So, e-learning is a thing right now. So, the government should emphasis on internet connectivity and bringing the internet to the last mile of India, so that each student gets online education.
So this is what the students really expect from the budget, to have an increased budget allocation, to also enhance the student loans as well. Avni, back to you.
Yes, absolutely, Disha. Thank you so much for getting us those voices as well. Well, let's now start getting in reactions from across the board. What have people made of this budget? Let me go across to Disha, who's joining us here. She's with some students who are also have something to say on the budget. Disha, over to you.
Well, that is right. So the very first thing that is coming in everyone's mind is about there has been no relief at all for the salaried people, for the middle class people in terms of personal income tax slab. So there has been no revision in this year's budget, and that is the big concern for the young generation here, for the people who are working as well, and the people who are going to join jobs as well. So let me get straight reaction from the future of our country. Thank you so much for speaking to us. So you told me that you were listening to that entire budget. So what was the first reaction and what's the first takeaway from this year's budget?
So I think according to Finance Minister said that under PLI scheme, Atmanirbhar Bharat is going to create as many as 60 lakh jobs. But if you look at the second wave of COVID, India has lost as many as 60 million jobs. So I think 10 million jobs. So I think 60 lakh is not enough for getting to the pre-pandemic levels as well. So I think, yeah, that's it.
So, do you really think that the budget also spoke in depth about, job opportunities, employment opportunities going forward? Because you all are studying the final year, and from next year onwards, you will also be going to start a job. So, do you really think the budget did focus on that or no?
I think it did focus on the edtech and the mental health of the upcoming generation. So I think it did spoke to a certain extent, but the amount of job creations it spoke about is little less, and we are competing with already experienced people. So I think we have a tough challenge to get jobs in the industry.
Right, tough challenge. Let's get another word as far as what is their takeaway from this year's budget. What do you really have to say?
So according to me, the budget was quite bold and more on the expenditure side. However, talking about the income tax regime, like no changes in the tax slab rates is going to bring a lot of doldrums to us. And also belonging to a potential salaried class people, not increasing the standard deduction is also a matter of concern. However, there is a sign of relief where you can file your returns for the next additional 2 years. So I think that was that.
What do you have to say?
So we as youth were really interested to see what government will bring changes in when it comes to digital assets like cryptocurrencies. So RBI has themselves introduced that they will be bringing in a new currency of their own by 2023. So we are really excited to see how they will be implementing it. And also they mentioned that all digital assets, income from digital assets will be taxed at 30%. So all this shows a really growth prospect for the youth as to future technology.
Right. So here you got young voices. Of course, they are, some of them are excited about the crypto, and of course the advantages that it will have in the near future. But some of them are really disappointed as there has been no relief for the salaried or the middle class people. But yes, they are also on a relief side that how, for the next 2 years you do get time to, have any discrepancies filed. So that is something which is on a plus side. But yes, the major revision that people were looking at as far as income tax slab is concerned, that is something which has disappointed many, especially in this budget.
Right, Disha, thank you very much for the moment, for joining us and getting us those reactions from the youngsters as well. So some of them clearly expected some changes to be able to get more money in the pocket at the end of the month, but that hasn't really happened. So that has come in as a big disappointment.